What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I want to get into the Daytona Supercross and some of the mayhem that just took place right after the racing, from the goggles getting ripped off of Jett's head to the people running onto the track as the race was still going, people just falling all over the place on the track, and just the general chaos that was going on. So Daytona Supercross, legendary speedway, legendary racing center. All kinds of legendary races have taken place there over the years. Racing wasn't super good. The track was decent, but, once Jett got out in front, the race was pretty much over. So congrats to him on another win. But with all that being said, Jett goes to do the traditional burnout on the sidelines where all the fans are. And as he's doing his burnout, one of the fans goes ahead and rips the goggles off his helmet. Now, there is an angle from the grandstands where you can kind of see it looks like maybe the guy says something to Jett and he nods his head as to signify that, yeah, you could take my goggles. Even if that is the case, it's a little extreme to even be bugging someone about that as they're trying to celebrate, one of the biggest wins of their career. So whatever the case may be, I'm not sure exactly who did that. And even if I was, I would never specifically call them out. But I just don't think that was, the best thing for them to be doing. And I think they should have just let Jett have their moment. I understand that it's really cool to get memorabilia, especially from something the athletes wore, especially in a specific race that they won. However, I thought that was a little out of line and kind of trashy to do. Moving on to the fans bum rushing the track as the race was still going. Now, this, I think, was a failure on the part of Feld and the AMA as far as not being able to fully secure that boundary. Now, obviously, the fans are let onto the track after the race. It's kind of a tradition. However, for that to happen as the last couple riders were still coming across the line was way out of line. As I'm sure most of you probably know, if you've ever been in a situation like that at a concert or whatever, it just takes that one or two people to cross over and it's like, oh, he went. And then next thing you know, 2, 3 more, and then 100, and then everyone goes. So understandable how it happened. It's a very large area to cover as far as that whole fence line. But I don't expect, them to take away trackside like a lot of people are saying they're going to. Like, oh, all these people ruin the trackside for future fans. Definitely think it's possible. But in general, I think they're just going to probably hire more security and probably put the boundaries in place better and make it more clear that there'll be penalties for jumping the boundaries too early. Now, obviously, if those people would have just stayed on the other side of the boundaries like they should have, none of this would have been a problem. So there is still some blame to be put on the people that just went ahead and decided to run onto the track. Obviously, even as a lot of people ran onto the track, the people that I would like to say had common sense went ahead and stayed off to the side until everyone had, finished the race, and then they went onto the track. But anyways, it is easy to get caught up in what the crowd's doing, and once one person goes, everyone goes. So all I'm saying is the AMA should have kind of had an idea that that could happen and maybe had a little bit more security personnel on the side of the track. I know they did have the police there already in position, but there were so many people going that they couldn't really do anything. Now, one thing I will say that I am pretty frustrated with the community and just Supercross fans in general for doing is some of the people who are posting about, Jason Anderson and the way he was trying to work through the crowds and like, oh, Jason's hitting people. Look at this. Oh, what a bunch of garbage, and all this stuff. Like, can't you see there's somebody right there? Why are you hitting him? Bro, he's literally trying to race. Like, I don't think people necessarily realize that he was the last one on the lead lap. So he was over a minute behind Jett. So whatever, be like, oh, well, don't get so far back next time. You should have been close. No, dude. No, absolutely not. He was in the top 10. He was, he's one of the best racers on the planet. And he's trying to finish the race. Like, get out of his... You have no business being on the track. So that's one thing that I did think was absolutely ridiculous. I've seen a lot of that. Like, oh, look at Jason running into people. Like, what? If you run across a freeway, you're probably going to get hit by a car. Like, it's not that they're trying to hit you. What are you doing on the freeway? So the fact that Jason was as cool as he was, I think was pretty impressive. He was obviously kind of flabbergasted at the fact that there's, several hundred people in the way of him trying to finish the race. And I believe that, with Aaron Plessinger going down and being off the back, that he was actually still trying to finish the race behind Jason, but he wasn't even on the lead lap. Whatever the case may be, there's a couple guys trying to finish this race, and they're, straightaways away from doing it, and there's literally thousands of people on the racetrack. I'm sure that some of you may have seen the video. It was treacherous out there, so they're literally slipping and sliding, having a hard time staying on their feet, and then here comes Jason, and it's like, bro, what? Like, how do I even navigate this? He was in total shock, I think. So anyways, I think it's absolutely dumb that anybody would make any comments against Jason and him, bumping into the people, the girl that he hit and a few other people that he bumped into. It's like he barely tapped him, and so there was a clear effort on his part to try to avoid them, but these people weren't even moving at all. Like, they're just kind of standing there like, oh, hi, Jason. It's like, dude, I don't understand. I don't understand that. I know that there's people that aren't super into racing and they probably didn't realize that they're walking through the middle of a race, but it's just really hard to comprehend that part. So I feel like it was a really bad look for Supercross fans in general to be doing something like that. But that's really the only part that I feel like the fans really let Supercross down. I feel like there should have been more preparation on the Supercross's part with that barrier and just enforcing it. So anyways, that's my take on the fans walking across the track. And there was a few other things that were pretty ridiculous. There was a guy with like a train horn at the podium and stuff like that, which I get the hype, and it's cool to have noise and air horns and whatever, especially you see a lot of that at the outdoor races, but the dude was just staying on the horn the whole time, and I heard a lot of people complaining about that, like you can't even hear what Tomac was saying and stuff. And it's like, at some point, I know it's a huge crowd, but can we shut that down, please? Like, I don't know. It's just a little ridiculous, kind of inconsiderate as far as, yeah, I know Supercross fans are loud and reckless and wild and dangerous and all this stuff, but, we're literally trying to hear this man speak on the podium, so can we please just get a couple of those and then move on? Like, we don't need to just stay on the horn the whole time. Anyways, I know that Daytona had record numbers as far as fan attendance this year at Supercross, so I think that's great. I think the sport's in a great place. And if nothing else, as much as it was total chaos after the race and pretty embarrassing in some aspects, it is pretty cool to see a bunch of passion from the fans and just a general interest in Supercross racing. So I don't think we should lose sight of that and just the way that everyone's really gaining interest in the sport. So that's good to see. And I just think that we got to make some adjustments going forward, especially at venues, at speedways and stuff like that, where there's trackside seating, and just secure things a little bit better and, try to be a little bit safer moving forward. That's all I got for this video, guys. Definitely going to be doing some more this week, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, feel free to subscribe if you want to. I'm going to be making videos all season long, so we're going to try to cover different topics, keep everyone up to date on injuries and just behind the scenes with the riders and stuff like that. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to come along. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.